Am I getting I'm getting 2 thumbs up for being live. That's from Dan. Dan's like, thumbs up, yay, two live crew, 2 thumbs up. Now I'm just waiting for it to show up on my screen on this side of the YouTube so that I can verify and we can be, something's happening on my screen. Welcome, everybody. How are you all doing on this fine Friday evening where we had an earthquake exactly, 4:48 yesterday was when we actually had the earthquake. We were sitting here. I was sitting here, not we. So I was sitting right in this seat where I'm sitting right now. Steven and Dan were over there in the office. And what happened is all of a sudden, the whole building started to shake, and Dan's Christmas tree shook. And we were sitting, and I was like, as soon as it stopped, they were like, what was that? I'm like, actually, I think before they said anything, I was like, was that an earthquake? Steven, are my levels okay? Am I too loud? Dan, am I too loud? I'm good because I kind of lied. I'm actually louder, Steven, than normal. Anyway, I got excited about the earthquake, Steven. I got excited, and actually I got scared, and so Steven's taking care of my levels right now. By the way, this isn't your normal RAWtalk at all. The guys have been working on a bunch of other things that needed to get done, and we've been doing a lot of stuff. So I'm going to sit here and do some flying solo because why not answer some questions? I put some question requests out on Facebook. I'm going to also take your questions down here. And don't forget the super chat button is there. If you decide that you want to pay for lunch sometime or maybe dinner, you can send some super chats, and I will hopefully answer your questions as long as they're good and stuff that. Sorry, my mother-in-law fell down yesterday at 4. I'm sorry. I thought they were serious, Dan. They weren't serious. They were making a joke about the earthquake. That wasn't very nice, but that was kind of funny. And so everything shook, and we checked the security footage because it wasn't a truck going by, and so that's exactly what happened. Dan, pop up my screen for 4 seconds. Count to 4. And just show people for 4 seconds that I've got a bunch of questions waiting. These are the questions I have. Okay, you can get rid of them now, Dan, whatever your name is. And I can go back to this because I'm going to be taking questions from you guys as well. And that's it. I'm not whiny. You're whiny. That's what somebody just said about me. Oh, Dan left his chair. What happened, Dan? It's different. It's different than normal. So, welcome, guys. Thank you for coming here. Get your questions in. We've got a bunch of people watching. Please give this a thumbs up because 6 negative people have given it a thumbs down just for fun. So please, just for fun, give this a thumb up. And don't forget to give me some comments and hit that, what is the thing called? Super chat. Hey, Jared, are you having any problems with the D850 buffer on large RAW during sports? Absolutely not. That's a great question. David Bowie asks, no, we've had no issues with that. I actually shot, when we went out to the Nikon event, we were shooting motocross, and you could shoot 10, 11, 12 frames in a row. And remember, these are 100 megabyte files. You're shooting to the XQD and the SD card. I was doing redundant, shooting RAW to both, no issues whatsoever. So that's me, no issues there. I thought you were flying solo in an airplane. No, we couldn't fly solo in an airplane. That probably wouldn't have worked out. Would you invite me on the next RAWtalk? Let me read the first question here. Dan, you could hold on, Dan. Don't show my screen yet. I don't want to show people this. Oh, I got to hide the desktop from this one too. Show desktop icons, hide desktop icons. Yeah, go ahead, Dan. So Dan's going to show my screen because I got this question from Kira Silvers. How do you get crisp photos? Mine are in focus but never seem to be super crisp like other photos. Is it the gear or the person behind the camera? So this question came in, and the first thought is, of course, it's the person behind the camera. It's generally the person behind the camera, and so I asked for further edification on something. They sent a photo, and they said what they were shooting with. Dan, back to my screen, please. I asked for more info. She sent back a photo and this. Well, I'm not going to show you the photo because, well, I didn't plan on doing that. Nikon D7000, which is generally out of focus anyway. I hated that camera for focus. With a Nikon 35F 1.8 lens, ISO 100 at f1.8 with 1/250th of a shutter. Also used a newer speedlight flash for fill. All right, back to me, Danielson. So that's the problem right there. The problem right there is the f1.8. Just because, hey, look, 5 pounds. Just because you have a 1.8 doesn't mean that you should shoot at 1.8 all the time. Now, you're not getting tack sharp images because you shot it at 1.8. So very little bit of a very small portion of that frame is going to be in focus, meaning the rest of it's going to look not sharp. So I would venture to say try shooting it at 2.2, 2.5, 2.8 with that lens and see what happens. So part of that is you. You need to understand that just because you have the 1.8 doesn't mean you always shoot there. There are times to shoot at 1.8, there are times to shoot at 1.4, but just know it's not going to look super sharp, and if you miss just a little bit, then you're going to wiggle it just a little bit. It's going to be slightly out. Here's a super chat. Don't forget you could do a super chat. Thanks for everything you do. I started photography as a hobby after watching your 6D walkthrough. Now I do photography and filmmaking full-time. Well, congratulations, well, it's not spelled Aaron, but it's Aaron Khan. Congratulations, Aaron Khan. Let's see. Any other questions coming here? What website platform do you like for photography? Zenfolio, Squarespace, Wix, WordPress, or something else? It depends on what you're doing. For a website, of course, I recommend squarespace.com/fro. That's my affiliate link. That's what I personally use. But if you're going to sell prints, Zenfolio and SmugMug do a great job at that. SmugMug also has an integration with your Squarespace because I think Squarespace does a better job with turnkey solutions for building a web page than what SmugMug had the last time I checked it out. Dan, good? You can talk this time because it's not a normal show, so I won't yell at you. All right, so I'll get to your questions in just a second. Let me get back to the next questions. Dan, you can move to this one. From, let's see, this is from Steven. Oh, well, I was trying to get rid of the rest, but whatever. Steven Vetterly, how do you deal with such negative attitude and comments towards your positions/opinions? What tips can you give people looking to start a channel but are hesitant because they see how vicious people could be towards them? That's a good question. Thank you, Steven. Part of the issue is you sometimes bring it on yourself. I'm not saying you. I'm saying when I say you, I actually mean me. If you bring up negativity in a title in your videos, it breeds negativity generally in the comments. I learned this a long time ago that if you post a video and one of the first or second comments are mostly negative, then a lot of people start to pile on and agree with that negativity and keep perpetuating it. So back in the day, I used to just delete those comments quickly if they just weren't going the right direction, not the direction I felt they should go, because I didn't want the negativity. Now, of course, there's been a lot of negativity lately with the one video I put up and the other video the other guy put up, and it's not warranted in my opinion. We share our opinions. We're all entitled to our opinions, and if you're going to leave a comment, make it educated. Don't call me a Jew. Don't call me other names. Don't, be positive. Think that here's something to do, Dan. You know what they should do? Think about it as if you're meeting me in person. Would you say the same thing that you're about to comment in person? Now, some of you out there would be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to say it anyway to your face. And most likely you're not, because you won't. And that's just the facts of it. After 7.5 years of doing this, I've run into many people, and it's the same thing. Like, I think I want to be super angry at somebody, and then you meet them, and you're like, well, I can't say that in person because it just wouldn't make sense. So, excuse me, don't worry about the negativity. When you first start out, you're probably going to have less haters than you will as you keep going. But that was a good question. All right, back here to the, what? That was from Steph Vetterly, not from Steven. No, Steph Vetterly, not from Steven. Right, Dan. Right, Dano. Book 'em, Dano. Thanks. So I'm back here in the chat. Let's see what else we have. Do you like the Canon Pro 1000? I love the Canon Pro 1000. I also love the Canon Pro 4000. Remember, Super Chat is an option. We take the guys out to lunch with that money. There are people who are vicious as a hobby. They find something negative in everything. Ignore those. You try to ignore it, but in all honesty, the negativity really gets to you. You could have 1,000 positive comments, and then the rest, a couple be negative, and then you hate it. But anyway, if you're just coming in here, thank you for joining us on this Friday afternoon. Please give this a thumbs up just for fun. And by fun, I mean because I'd like it, and it makes me feel so good about myself. It doesn't really make me feel good about myself. So let's get those questions in. You're so right, mate. Love the live chat. Hey, thank you for watching. Rajesh Kartri. All right, back to the questions, Daniel. Oh, look, Stefan Kajer. Someone on YouTube says that if you make your living from YouTube, you're not a real photographer. What's your take? Back to me, Dan. Ready camera one, Dan? Take camera one? This is camera one, right? Yeah. Does that bring back memories for you? So that is a question that people bring up all the time. They say, if you're a YouTuber and you make a living doing that, you're not really a photographer. And that's somebody who's not making it on YouTube or in photography telling you that you suck. And that's perfectly fine. I don't agree with it. And this question came up a long time ago when I was on Scott Kelby's show, The Grid. And I'm like, Scott, ask me that question. And I say, as a photographer, I think it's our goal, my goal at least as a photographer, to be able to get to a place where you don't need to take certain jobs anymore because you're making enough money doing something so you can shoot what you love, right? So that's the way that I look at it. The fact that I started YouTube for the point that I was trying to get more jobs and it turned into a business is what happened. I welcome questions like that. Thank you for saying that I'm not a real photographer. I personally try to put my work out there, and you can tell me I'm a shitty photographer, or you can tell me I'm a great photographer. I think I'm very good at what I do. I think I have a particular style, and that's for me. So I'm secure and happy with the work that I'm creating and always looking to get better and capture those moments better. And I still go into photo shoots hoping that I can repeat get great shots. So I still question that when I go out there, and then I get back at home and I'm like, yes, I was able to do it again. I'm super happy with the results that I got. So what I have to say about that is exactly what I just said about that. I don't worry so much about that. That's cool. That's cool. I can shoot. I can go places. I can do what I want. I can travel. I can take photos, all because I made YouTube videos when I thought I was going to get more jobs from the YouTube videos, and it ended up becoming a business and a career. What, Dan? You're looking at me. No? You're not looking at me? Okay, here we are back in the chat. The question of all time, Nikon versus Canon versus Sony. Well, a couple years ago, Sony wasn't even in that, but it's personal preference. And I'll just say this. I just ordered in a Sony A9. We actually have an A7R III here that we're using, but I just ordered in an A7 IV, A9, Sony A9 to take with me if I have the shoot in LA next week, because it's during a taping of a TV show, and I want to be prepared that if I need to shoot silent, that I pull that out and put the D5 away. So I'll be taking 2 kits with me. D5, my main run and gun. At least I wonder if I should. See, it's starting to make me question that sometimes, because the A9 is capable. It's very capable, and especially if I need to be silent. So I'll have to figure that out. When do you give free workout? If someone or an organization approaches me, says that they love my photos, but they want some for free, how do you approach that? They say it's good opportunity for me. Well, you can tell them to suck your fingernails, because you have to ascertain whether whether it is a good opportunity for you or not. Keep in mind that you have a leg up. They're coming to you for free work, so you better ask them for some stuff in return that actually helps you out. You don't owe them anything, and don't fall for the, well, we'll pay you on the next one. You have to look into each situation. But I'd be like, you know what? You could pay me half now and pay me half on the second one, because then there's another one. Or depending on the situation, if there's value in it for you, good networking. Networking is super important, but it can only take you so far when people are like, do this for free, do this for free, do this for free. So you dictate what you're going to be able to do for free. Hey, I'd be more than happy to photograph your event, but please understand that this is my job, that you are getting paid to do your job. Other people are getting paid as well. So maybe this time around, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you images that you can use online. If you end up wanting to use them for anything else, then you're going to have to pay me for usage rights to do that. So you just have to figure out how you can work this around and make it work. Yes, this thing is on. I saw your first video when I started out learning the basics. You helped me a lot then and still do. Thanks. You're welcome, Thomas Scherholm. What are your thoughts on the A7R3 for an all-around camera including weddings? What is an all-around camera? I think it's a very good camera that's fully capable. Now, it has an issue with the electronic shutter picking up a shit ton of flicker when the lights are flickering. So right there, it's not really... It's better than the D850, in my opinion, when it comes to shooting silent, because it actually can shoot silent and you can see what you're doing. But they're very similar. You're going to have to decide what you want to shoot with. I do like the IAF. I do not like that the IAF was missing sometimes. Thanks for the kind words regarding my mother. Hey, we're 6 minutes away from earthquake time. Considering Sony A7R2, should I save for the 3? I guess. Probably. All right, let's get back to my questions, Steven, Dan, whatever your name is. Dan. Andrew Stevenson. I saw the real-world review that you just put out, and I'd love a lens that size. How do I get a sponsor? LOL. Well, that's not really funny. I've been thinking of making a calendar, hopefully to sell. Don't have any clue where to start as far as I do. Do I need a publisher? That kind of information. Always love Frono's Photo Show. Keep up the great work. Ready, camera one. Take camera one. Thank you. Did you like that, Dan? Did you like that? So the answer to this question, you may not like it, is you have to ask yourself, who's going to buy your calendar? Why would somebody want to buy so-and-so Andrew Stevenson's calendar? And I'm not saying that to be a dick. I'm saying that because it was the same thing that was said to me when I said I want to make a book before I had a YouTube channel. So we're going back 9 or 10 years. And the person said, well, who's going to buy the book, right? You need to rely on yourself to be able to sell the book to somebody or the calendar to somebody. So you need to get people interested in what you're doing. I'm not saying don't make a calendar, but don't expect... Who buys calendars anymore is another thing. Dan, do you own a calendar? No, Dan doesn't. I have a calendar right here in my phone. I don't buy calendars that flip open because it's not 1983 anymore. But I'm not trying to discourage you, but the advice that I'm giving you is find people who are interested in what you're doing. Then you'll be able to offer something, and then you can see if they want it. $6,500, great landscape experience setup. I was thinking Nikon D850 with Nikon 14-24 2.8 lens. That good direction? Well, for landscapes, yeah, a D850 is a great body. For landscape, I think you can kind of shoot landscape with anything, but it is about the glass. If you need to step down to a D810 for landscape, you could kind of do that. I'm a big fan of buying the best of the best of the best with Honor Sir that you can. The 14-24 may not be the best landscape lens. It's the widest lens that they have, but you could look at a 24-1.4. You could look at a 28-70. There are so many different options that you could look at, but I don't know that a first lens of a 14-24 is the best option for landscapes, especially with the distortion around the end. So here's a super chat, $5. Do you think that the older 60 is worth getting over the new, what does that say, Dan? The newer Mark II. Oh, with the extra money for more megapixels and possibly better low light. Much love. Gearbox. Do you think the older 60 is worth getting? Steven, do you think the older 60 is worth getting? No, I agree. Not at this point is what Steven said. I don't agree. So I would get the 60 Mark II myself. I would try to maybe wait till one comes up refurbed. That is definitely a good option to get one. So yeah, no, no. The new one is much better than the old one. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say about that. Over the new one with extra money for more megapixels. It's not really about the more megapixels. It's about the focusing points and the lower light and the video, the dual pixel AF. Where do you store your big ass prints that you don't put up on the wall or display? There's one on the floor right now, and there's actually a couple on the floor downstairs, and then there's a couple rolled up that are down. We'll see what's happening if I'm still here. Live stream off. Well, that's probably going to ruin somebody's day. What, the box? Yeah, the whole box went black. Never done that before. I don't know if we're here, but I'll just say. We're back. And I'm not flipping out, Dan. Dan, I'm not flipping out. It happens. Hey, Steven, can you... Yeah, we're here. Everybody's saying we're here. That was interesting. Dan just said there was a software malfunction on the screen. It went black, and he alerted me by raising the siren that blinked. It just blinked on me. But hey, who knows what just happened? Yeah, we don't know why. But let's keep moving on. You good, Steven? Yeah, we don't know what happened. What do you think happened, Dan? The box just tweaked? An encoder problem? I don't think. Well, that's never happened, and we're only been on for a couple minutes. Okay, so let me pop out the chat again and keep going. What is your to-do list for your channel? Any new big projects coming? Yeah, it's a great question. We have a bunch of things we're working on, like the Real World Review that you just saw. Those type of videos are obviously where I'd love to keep going. So that's the type of content that I would love to do more of. That. Boom. All right. Steven, Dan, ready camera 2? Take camera 2. All right. David Holman. I've tried getting into portrait and fashion photography several times. Now I've booked a time with models and they've had to cancel at the last minute. It's really annoying and it's getting on my nerves. I can't go back to the same models I photographed before and want to evolve. What I'm wondering is, living in a small town in Sweden where model mayhem was going to be my answer, where model mayhem isn't really used, how do I evolve when I can only work with the same models over and over? Dan, ready camera 1, take camera 1. You know, the answer to this is you live in Sweden. All you need to do is open up your door and there's going to be 8,000 women that are beautiful waiting for you to take their picture. Because that's Sweden. Boinka, 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 borka, 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 borka. Yeah, just walk down the street going borka, 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 bork, 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 bork. Right? Seriously, you live in what do you say, Sweden? Or did I get it wrong? Yeah, he lives in Sweden. You got so many people there in Sweden. My question, walk down the street respectfully saying, holding a sign that says, I want to take your picture. And then Waco, my airplane, filter. I don't even know if the song goes like that. They are all hot. I do live in Philly. DxO Mark officially scored a A7R III, the same overall, but better in most categories than the D850. Both amazing cameras and not much for spec sheet talk, but I'm glad I bought the camera. Well, I don't give a crap about what DxO Mark says in the studio about a camera in a lab. It doesn't mean anything. It really it doesn't matter. That's The Rock. It doesn't matter. I've actually used both cameras, and I've gotten great pictures with both cameras. So pick a camera, buy a camera, and go with it. I don't know what I would tell you to do, whether you should get an A7R III or a D850. I like how the D850 feels in my hands. I like the screen on the D850. I do like the EVF for checking my exposure in my viewfinder when I'm taking photos, but I also don't like the EVF when it's ultra bright. And I also bright out. And I also don't think the EVF is a perfect representation of your exposure. And Steven said he had that same issue with the histogram and the image not matching. Places that said weren't blown out then came up blown out, right? Something like that. Yeah, he's giving me a thumbs up. So I got that right. That was like Bernie Sanders doing The Rock. And okay, first off, I'm from Vermont, okay? Let me tell you something. I used to go to this ice cream parlor. It was down on the corner in Burlington, Vermont, and it was owned by these two gentlemen. One's name was Ben, and the other's was, let me check my brain. His name was Jerry. And I was like, Ben and Jerry, let's do a socialist experiment here. Let's sell ice cream one scoop at a time for the same price, and then you give another one away. Stephen Holt, thank you for $2. Then you get... So this is socialism. Steve Holt just gave me a super chat for $2 so I could say his name. And what the heck is a CHF payment of $5? Anyway, oh, he did? He didn't put it in there. Anyway, that was Bernie Sanders. Why was I talking about Bernie Sanders, Dan? I don't remember. Should I get a DSLR for more pro footage, especially for low light situations, or should I get another camcorder? If DSLR, what do you recommend? That's an interesting question. What do you shoot, Andres Connerfrat? So, Steven, what's the name of that new Sony Canon camcorder? XF400. So we used the XC10 a lot for doing oh, Down the Corner song. Yeah, somebody was saying it doesn't matter from the song. That's right. So the XF400 is a camcorder that has a 1-inch sensor, super telephoto, a nice zoom lens, an okay aperture, dual pixel AF. It seems to be a great option for shooting 4K and getting great results when we haven't tried it yet. But if you do a lot of that type of stuff, that could be good. But keep in mind, in low light situations, a 1-inch sensor is not going to be nearly as good as a 5D Mark IV or a A7R3, which Steven said the autofocus was really good on when he shot the entire real-world review when we were in Sedona. Taking my jacket off, all right? It doesn't matter, Dan. Oh, that was Swiss francs. Thank you for your Swiss francs. Super Chat is available, guys. If you'd like to Super Chat and get your question, and oh, it's not available in the UAE. Well, you could pay me in barrels of oil if you would like. Then you could just Super Chat if you really were. Joaquin, go ask your questions. Thank you, John Mayfield. I was wondering. Oh, I don't know what the question was. All right, let's go back to the ready camera 2, take camera 2. Thank you. Is that against the rules? Did I say it too quick, Dan? Or you just were too busy texting that you didn't get it up there quick enough? What's the proper protocol for me saying ready camera 2? What's the time frame? 2 seconds, he says. Matthias Apple. I just bought a Sigma USB dock for my new 100 to 400, testing it tomorrow. What's your opinion on this little gadget? Great accessory or customer support outsourced to the customers? It's an interesting question. I'm not really sure what I think about that dock because I haven't used it. You shouldn't really have to... you really shouldn't have to worry about... I got distracted. I got a Super Chat and a text at the same time. And 2 Super Chats popped up. I'm going to have to... Oh, that's the same Super Chat. USB dock. USB dock. I'm not a fan of thinking that you should have to tweak your lens that much that you're going to use it. Now, I don't know. I haven't used it. I'm honestly going to say I don't really know. Question here says from Super Chat for $5. Would you consider the XF400 for your workflow? Steven, thumb up or thumb down? Steven's going to give a thumbs up even though he can't hear me right now. The answer is yes. We would consider an XF400. Absolutely. Yes? Oh, Dan's giving devil horns. We would absolutely consider it because a lot of the real-world review that we just put up from the 100 to 400 Sigma was shot with one XC10, except for the OTFs were shot with my D5, I'm pretty sure. Right, Steven? Yeah. But all of the stuff in the zoo was shot with the XC10. The OTFs, meaning the ones where I'm just standing there talking, that was done with the D5. And the XC10 works for running and gunning. And this XF400 with dual pixel AF, a 1-inch sensor, a really nice zoom, wide to telephoto, an okay aperture, built-in ND filters, if I recall. Yeah. Steven's saying, yeah. Then I like that. So that is definitely worthy. Hey, could you guys do me a favor and share this out if you feel so inclined to share this with people to say, hey, you should come listen to Jared. He's talking a bunch of stuff. Thanks, DMAC. Guess what I'm going to do to DMAC, Dan? Put user in timeout. You're in timeout. Next time I put somebody in timeout, you're going to get to see it. Do you squeeze your glutes while sitting down? Sometimes. Okay. Oh, what's my text say? I don't know. Is that somebody watching me right now? No. It's about a New Jersey camera show. Unique photo. Anyway, ready camera 2. Take camera 2. Thank you. Kenny Vasquez. Bam, bam, bam. Todd's not here. Oh, but Frank is. What are your thoughts about having a studio and hiring people to work for you, and also being a freelancer for other studios? Maybe Steven will have some good info about that. Well, Steven's busy editing right now in the other room, so I'll answer this. Thank you, Dan, for taking that. The answer to what do I think about having a studio? if you can get enough jobs where you are so busy that you need to have more people, first, I wouldn't even open a studio. I would just have more people that work for you, and you may need to incorporate and get workers' comp and do all of the right things legally. So I would be careful, but I don't know about opening a traditional type of studio today, because who's going into your studio to get a portrait done? Nobody. Nobody's coming into your studio to do a portrait. So I would just get really busy and get extra people to come help you shoot. Hello, my name is Cadre Andrews. My friend is using me for her senior project. That's awesome. And she wants me to teach her photography. Got any tips on what I should start teaching her first about photography? Yeah. The exposure triangle, the basics of the basics. But actually, before you even get to that, just go out and shoot. And then just work on composition. That's it. Put it in full auto. Shoot it in JPEG. I don't care. Just, somebody pull that quote and post it somewhere if you want to isolate that audio. But I wouldn't care. Get that person to go out there and just start shooting. Thank you for $1. Then what's his name? I got to read his name. Murat Clicky. Go out there and shoot. And just critique the images and work on composition. And then when they get bored of the results that they're getting from that, because they want better depth of field, they want to learn more. I mean, that's what I recommend that you do. Even Dan should be doing that. Just go out and shoot and just get better that way. A99 II or A7R3? I've never used an A9 II, but I would probably just venture to say A7R3. What website platform do you like for photography? I already answered that, Murat. Thank you for your $1, though, but I did answer that for you earlier. Ready camera 2, Dan? Take camera 2. Thank you. Victor A. Mateo Gonzalez. Sometimes have 2 potential wedding clients for the same date. I'm one-man, but you're a one-man band. Do you recommend hiring another to shoot one wedding representing your name? That is a great question. So I've had this issue when I was shooting weddings, and I would tell people that whoever books me first is getting me. You are hiring me. Now, if you know that you're already booked for a date, you need to be straight up honest with the people and be like, I'm already booked, but I do work with other people, and here's their work. Now, that means that you fully are confident in the people that you would send out there to do the job. You have a portfolio of theirs and just their images ready to go. And you give those to the people to look at and say, yes, I would like to hire this person. Then you pay them a good chunk of change, and you keep some of the chunk of the change. Actually, you keep a good chunk of the change, but say it's a $3,500, let's say $4,000 wedding. I'm going to give them like $1,250 to go do it themselves, even $1,500. And if they're really good, I'll give them half the damn price. But that way you're making an extra $2,000 in that day. If they're competent, they have to be a competent photographer. You can't, and yes, they would be representing your name, by the way. Okay, Dan. My glasses are dirty. All right, let's get ready camera 2 again and take camera 2. One Eye Blind Media. Thanks to your excellent guides, I'm doing both photo and video, but have no clue how to market my services to local businesses. Any words of fro wisdom? Yeah, walk into those local businesses and tell them why they need you. Reach out to them. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram and comment about them. Go film something about their store or their location and cut it up into a 30-second teaser and send it to them. And be like, there's more where this came from. And then wink at them. Really, just get out there and ask for the sale. That's what I got to say about that, Dan. That is what I have to say. How many more questions? So I got another one in there. So yeah, let me take camera 2 again. I'll read the last question from here, and then we're going to come back into the super chat. Saeed Talal. What's better, taking photos at high ISO, compromising on quality, or taking an underexposed photo and bringing it back in post? That is a tremendously amazing question, because that is exactly what I do at times. At times, let me read this real quick. How do I know the pic sent to Rapid Fire reached me or something? $2 by Peter Stradmore. If you send it in, we definitely got it. If it went through the bit.ly/Fro Critiques, it definitely came in, along with 10,000 other ones. So the chances of me critiquing yours, not so much likely, because there's so many. Now back to this other question was, should you bump that? So depending on your camera, you can bump the ISO up higher and do that. I call this cheating the system. When you leave the ISO where it is because you don't want to push it, say, past 6400, but you're going to underexpose, meaning if the proper exposure was 1/500th of a second, you're going to let less light in, underexposed, because you're going to get a faster shutter speed of, say, 1/1000th of a second, which is a one-stop difference. And so what's actually happening is you're underexposing the image, but you're going to bring it back in post because the person was moving and you wanted to make sure that you froze the motion without taking the ISO super high so that you get too much noise and grain. That's what I have to say about that. So that's my answer to that. Now I'm back here in the super chat window, looking for you guys to do some super chats or ask some more questions. And I'll keep answering. Let's see. I want a D500 so bad. However, so expensive. Any guidance on purchasing used? Also want to trade in or sell my D300S. You're not going to be able to sell your D300S or get very much money for your D300S. It is a camera that I would hand to somebody and say, here, have fun, go learn. It's not worth selling it for $200, in my opinion. Maybe it is for you. But I would look for refurb D500s. Check out Nikon to see if they have any in their refurb store. Adorama Picks does a lot. B&H does used, so check them out. At what point should you start? At what point should a starting out photographer look at doing weddings or models? Do you need FX? No, you don't need FX. If you're capable of doing a wedding and your work is good, you can do it. Super chat in something in Frank's again. What is the best gimbal for a 2.5 kilogram? Well, I don't know kilograms. DSLR for video. I honestly don't know much about gimbals. I'm sorry. I should give you your Franks back. Ask another question without paying Franks, and I'll try to answer it. I honestly don't have an answer for that, and I don't know what... 2.5 kilograms is 1 pound, just about, because 2.2 kilograms is a pound, right, Dan, from your coke snorting days? Not that you did. I'm just kidding. What? Is your wife watching? If you'd like to submit photos for rapid fire critique, you can send them to bit.ly/frocritiques. Well, I'm a Sony shooter, but in love with photography. Really appreciate this Nikon talk. You're welcome. Any suggestions for cold weather shooting? Wear gloves. Is that a good recommendation, Dan? Wear gloves? All right, so let's keep on. Keep on, guys. I'm out of the other questions. I answered 10 of those. Now I need you guys in the chat to start doing questions. Oh, it's 2.2 pounds per kilogram. So it's a 5-pound camera. I got it backwards. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'll give you your Franks back if I know how to do a conversion. Hey, how much are 2 Franks worth, by the way? That's 5.5 pounds. Then you're looking at like a Movi or that DJI gimbal, or you're looking at a glide cam. I'm sorry I got it wrong. I'm super apologizing that I got it wrong. All right. Let's see. I'm watching Froze live, and Roberto Blake is live. Is it worth getting a Sony a6500 as a video cam while I'm using a Canon shooter? I don't think so. Is the Nikon D300S still a good bulk of a body, not looking for big... It doesn't matter that you're looking for big prints or not. Big prints isn't a determining factor. Yeah, it's a bulk of a body, but the ISO over 1600 is garbage with that camera. 2 Franks are worth about 3.1 Garys. Hey, John Mayfield, this guy. Hey, Freo, do you think you could get good money selling my Sony a7R II? I'm thinking of selling it. I don't know. I don't know the going rate. I am not a Kelly Blue Book, unfortunately. How do you write finance requests or sponsorship request letters? You need, if you're going to look for sponsorship from somebody, you need to be able to give them a reason to want to sponsor you. What can you do for them? Do you prefer CF cards or over SD cards? Not at this point. SD cards are just, well, yes. I would say yes. If I had my choice of a compact flash or an SD, I'm taking compact flash. They just seem to be, knock on some wood, reliable. Not that the SDs haven't been, but I break more SD cards from that plastic breaking than anything else. Lumix G80, don't know much about it. Let me get a super chat. Who wants to super chat and get a virtual high five? All thanks for the shout out. You're welcome. Message redacted. Somebody redacted or retracted their message. Well, so anyway, I appreciate you guys coming on. I'm not done yet. I'm going to let you guys fill up the question feed and do some of that stuff right now. Blondes, brunettes, or redheads. I don't know. Combination of all the above, maybe. Don't let the girlfriend hear that. I'm just kidding. I tell her that all the time. What color's my girlfriend's hair, Dan? It's brunette, right? All right, just checking. Yeah. You know, I never know that sometimes. I like miss the obvious stuff, and then girls are like, "What are you doing? Don't you understand stuff?" And I'm like, "Not really. I'm oblivious to many, many things if it's not about, you know, me." That's a joke, all right? Partially. You broke your 24 to 70 with no insurance. What should I do? Get it fixed. I mean, get a quote to get it fixed. What else are you going to do? You're not going to buy a new one. $1. Thank you, Valenanahaha. So what we're working on is a lot of stuff as this year is starting to wrap up. I'm working on my personal project. I'm supposed to have I'm working on whether I have to book a flight to LA for next week. I just booked something to Kentucky. Is anybody in Kentucky? I just booked a hotel room. Oh, it is? 72 or SLR2. I take the 77D, by the way, all day. Will you ever get back to photo walks with people? Yeah, sure, I'll do some of those. No, maybe, but I'm on a personal project there, so I'll be shooting. My insurance deductible is $1,000. Is that normal? No, it's terrible. You should, if you're a professional, are you in the United States, Leslie Duquette? Or Duquette? Duquette? That's Duquette, right? Email me, jared@fronosphoto.com. Download my Gear Vault if it's actually working right now. We were having a glitchy McGlitcherson going on where something was going on with it. Let me see what my app developer just emailed me to see if there's a fix. As suspected, this is an issue with the Facebook SDK and really on their side. We're currently looking into it if there's anything we can do on ours. They're going to keep me posted because I couldn't log in because there's an issue. And I'm going to ask him, what about the crashes? See, I don't even know. Can I log in without using my... I guess I could log in with my Facebook stuff. Maybe that I got to test it out. That's an issue. You're in Canada, but we have... Okay, go to mygearvault.com/Canada, I think. No question mark at the end of that. mygearvault.com/Canada. There's a link to Front Row Insurance through us, through My Gear Vault, and we work with them. They have insurance. So I was on the phone with getting an insurance quote through one of the companies that we're using now, and I called in. Hey, Louisville, Kentucky, Matt, I'm going to be going to that Tufts Arena or whatever that arena's called. Yeah, My Gear Vault supports on iPhone 10. It works. We paid I think it's been updated for that. I mean, it works on mine when it's working, which it usually is. Let's see. What was I saying, Dan? I sidetracked myself. Somebody just gave $10. Oh, the deductible. Yeah, I was on the phone with them, and I could get a $250 deductible or a $500 deductible, and the difference for the year was like $34. So to pay the extra $34 to have a $250 deductible, now that's probably just for the first occurrence. If you ever have something after that, they're definitely going to double it to $500. But hey, if you have $15,000 of gear that goes gone for whatever reason, then you're going to be happy that you have a $250 deductible. Here's a $5 question from Dahaka 88. I'm thinking about buying a 17 to 50 on either Sigma or Tamron to replace the kit lens. Any thoughts on which is better? I haven't used the Tamron, and I also know that the Sigma is super old on the 17 to 50. But what I can tell you about the 17 to 50 Sigma is that it's on sale for $300 off. I recommended it to somebody at VaynerMedia to buy a 77D with a 17 to 50 Sigma 2.8. I don't care if it's a couple years old and it's going to be replaced. For $365, a 17 to 50 is a great starting point, Dan. You got that? Hey, Fro, I'm a fan, even though sometimes I give you shit, hashtag photo Melky. Also watching Roberto Blake talk about YouTube demonetization. How has demonetization bug affected you, if at all? Good question. Thank you for bringing that up. Has it affected me? When I put up the thing that said Big Ass Prince, it demonetized it before it even went live, which is bullshit. But the way around it is you can change your title before it goes live. I've had certain videos go demonetized, and all I've done is change the title. And there was one that happened that I'm like, why is this demonetized? I'm not saying anything about anything that should allow it to be demonetized. Dan, what time do you want to get out of here? I'm just checking. So I luckily haven't run into too many issues, knock on the wood. And if it has happened, it's happened on a video that was already up. Question from Andreas Kondrat, who gave $5 in francs. Do you know a better zoom lens for similar price to the Sigma 150 to 600 for Nikon? Well, I don't know the similar price, but the price of, well, yeah, for Nikon, let's see. The 200 to 500 is priced at Nikon. Dan, cut to my screen, please. The 200 to 500 is $1,196. The Sigma 150 to 600 Sport is $1,800. Got that. That's more expensive than the Nikon. Or just the Contemporary is $999. I have tested both of these lenses. I've used a 200 to 500 at a Phillies game, and at the same Phillies game, back away from my screen, Dan, sorry. At the same Phillies game, I used the Sigma 150 to 600 Sport. The 150 to 600 Sport was heavy. I've also used a Contemporary because that video has almost 1 million views on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, you'll see it. I was very happy with the results that I got. I think that the Nikon 200 to 500, well, it's shorter, but it's a 5.6 all the way through. It's also not as wide. So, hey, can I answer a question that comes up, Canada for $10? Because, Dan, what's that, like $7? I'm a 17-year-old freelancer, so why are you giving me your 10 hard-working Canadian dollars? That's like a loonie. That's like 5 toonies. Or 10 loonies. Or 5 loonies, 6 loonies, and 2 toonies. I'm a 17-year-old freelance photographer, meaning you're a photographer, and I'm beginning to feel discouraged. I spend so much time and money on my craft, and I feel like I don't get enough recognition. Okay, Andrew, because you're 17 and you just gave me $10 that you could have bought Canadian beer with, and you're not old enough, you need to be 18. Send me no, 19 in Canada, right? It's 19. Is it 17? Somebody correct me. Email me, Andrew Ollie, Jared@fronosphoto.com. I'm going to help you a little bit here. I'll critique a page of yours. Send me some. Don't send me your photos, but send me a link to your photos. Don't get discouraged, okay? The reason I'm saying don't get discouraged is because you're 17. As Gary Vaynerchuk always says, patience. It's all really. I've been in the same situation as a young photographer, not getting paid, not getting any respect, not getting anything, and it's just the facts of life. I never knew who that girl was on The Facts of Life, but I never watched The Facts of Life. So that's my answer, is really don't get discouraged. Just keep meeting people. Just keep getting better. It will pay off. It will pay off. Hey, Fro, I'm a fan, even though sometimes... Oh, I already read that one. Yeah, I already read that one. Would a Sony a7R II work well for a roller derby bout? Fast-paced and very low light. Not as well as a camera that is better in low light. Oh, and also, don't call yourself a freelance photographer. Just call yourself a photographer, Andrew. You're a photographer. You shoot pictures, okay? Don't need to label it. I also put professional photographer on my card, thinking putting professional on there made me smarter. Sean Weigel asked about that A7R II. Work well for roller derby. I think that a faster shooting camera, one of the lower light ones, would be a better option in that situation. I'm 35 and just picked up... Why are you telling me how old you are? I'm just kidding. I get it. I'm 35 and I just picked up my first DSLR, a D3300, in April of 2017. I have a kit lens, an 18 to 55 and a 55 to 200, also a 51.8. Can't get sharp pics without a tripod. Any tips for handshake or better glass or for DX? It's you, man. It's you. It's got to be your settings. It's got to be your settings. Type in, look at one of your pictures right now on your camera. Tell me what the picture is of in the comments. Then tell me what your settings were, what lens you were using, and I'm going to sit here and tell you that it was you. I'm not yelling at you, and you should probably give me your email so I can send you my video guide so you can take better pictures. But that's what I'm saying, all right? Ali, I think I just liked your Facebook page, somebody says. So I'm waiting for who to answer this. Who I've been using, who am I waiting for? Dep3Chi. Dep3Chi, let's go. Get in there and answer that. Get me something so I can tell you about it. And are you guys enjoying this? Put some smiley faces in here if you're enjoying this. Do you favor photography? Do you have a favorite photography book? I get tired of watching videos all the time, and sometimes I like to sit back and relax read a good book. Well, I don't read the photo books. I look at the photos on them, and I'm really happy. I have a lot of photo books, probably over 100, 150 of them at home. And I just look at them. That's like my jam, is to look at them. Yeah, nobody watched from my bookshelf on YouTube. For whatever reason, on Facebook, from my bookshelf did well. What is your go-to gear rental site? I need a telephoto to capture a proposal. I go to lensrentals.com these days. I used to do borrow lenses, but they upset me. And also, I think that the shipping is better with lensrentals.com. Neither of them are paying me currently, and I'm just saying that, and that's not sponsored. That's just what I personally use. And I like that they send it in a lot of times. It's all in a Pelican case. It's super cool. Hey, thank you guys for all those glass eye things. Those people, they're smiling. We're gaining more people, Steven and Dan. How far in are we, Dan? 52 minutes. All right, we're going to get out of here shortly, but I'm hoping this guy will get his question back in here. Yeah, slow talk is on. Well, let me turn off slow. How do I turn off slow talk? Say something. I don't know how to turn off slow talk. Toggle send. Yeah, I don't know where slow mode is. If somebody knows where slow mode is, let me know. I thought Depeche Mode just sent me a message back. Do you think that Nikon will ever do a decent video autofocus? Nope. Nope. Oh, there it is. Thank you. Picture settings is coworker in office. ISO 100, first problem. F4, no flash. Well, you didn't tell me the shutter speed. Tell me the shutter speed next, please. Hi, should I upgrade to a full frame for portraits? If you want, but there's really no need to. Okay. Dan, let me know if you catch that guy's response for that, okay? Slow mode is under the fro. It is? Anyway, I like it on slow mode. It's much easier. Okay, somebody gave $5, and all they did was give $5. I will say, I like Flower City Bread Company for $5. Don't turn off slow talk. All right. So, yeah, thank you for $5, Flower City Bread. Todd doesn't thank you because he is gluten-free. Thoughts on Micro Four Thirds? Don't like it. Personally, I don't like the high ISO capability or lack thereof. I'm waiting for that shutter speed from that guy. Waiting for shutter speed from that guy. Hey, it's One Blind Media. I already answered your question. I already answered your question earlier. Actually, I did answer your question earlier. I got it from Facebook. Take a top of more. You mean take my top off more? Best lens under $500. That's super suggestive. I'm not really sure. Can you show his picture? Whose picture? Well, he didn't send me the picture, so I can't. Why you never do a Panasonic review, GH5, GH4? Because we just got one like a year after they sent it to us. Or a year after it came out. And I don't feel like reviewing it just to review it. I think any camera that you put in your hands is going to be a great camera. The reason I don't personally want a GH5 is because I don't like the fact that it's not great in high ISO. I just don't like the smaller sensor. Any more content with Adam? Yes. Would you rather like to shoot landscape with if you had to choose between a D500 or D750? I'm going to go with the D750. How to click portraits. I have a kit lens in low light. I obviously can't help you there right here. Come on, man. Answer that question. Get that question back. I mean, I want to know the shutter speed you did. Best lens under $5. Paper. Did you like that, Dan? Paper. With a hole in it. It's all right. You're not an idiot, one eye blind. You can go back and rewind and listen to it. Flower City Bread Company. You provide much awesome free content and just want to drop you a fin to say thank you. Well, thank you. Sorry, shutter speed was 1/5 of a second. Okay. So even Dan said wow. So let's just go. Let's do this nicely without yelling at you. If you have a shutter speed that you're going to handhold under 1/60th of a second, you're going to get shake. So if you're in manual, or so actually you're at 100 ISO, what you need to do is get out of auto, and even if you go into the P mode, go into the P mode. I don't care, just so you can start to get better. Bump your ISO up higher. Make sure your shutter speed doesn't drop too slow if it's a coworker sitting still. If they're moving, you don't go into YouTube and type in Frono's photo 3 shots or less. Yes. Go watch 3 shots or less. That's going to answer your questions. But, of course, 1/5 of a second is super slow. If you can hear the shutter open and the shutter close, it's too slow to handhold. What do you think? Why buy shorts when you can have champagne? I don't get it. I just got booked for my first wedding for a friend. I only have a D3000 with a D3300 with an 18 to 55. Oh, geez. I'm in very low light. What's your best advice? Pray. With that, you better go get a lens. Even if you rented a 24 to 120, you're going to be better off at f4. There is no new schedule for RAWtalk. It's just that I'm going to be away next Friday, maybe the next 2 Fridays, so we may just have Dan, Steven, and Todd sitting in here doing the show. I got out of auto because of you. Well, thank you. I do not like salami. I do not like salami at all. You can put cheesesteak media on it. Oh, on a shirt, on a jacket. Yeah, Todd should have scratch and sniff. Why buy shots, not shorts? Well, I can't read. I can't read good. My eyes move, so I can't see what I'm looking at. Is there any way of shooting HSS with alien bees? I honestly don't know. Thoughts on the G85? Don't know anything about the G85. Okay, I've had enough. Guys, I appreciate you coming in here and watching and having fun and answering or listening to these answers. Please pay attention to the Facebook channel, the Facebook feed, because I will ask for flying solos from time to time. If you want to submit a good flying solo question, you can go to bit.ly/frocritiques. That's bit.ly/frocritiques. And you could submit a flying solo question because I'm going to be going over to the Pizza Hut, what's that sign called, Dan? Photo Hut sign, and doing a lot more flying solo style videos. And because of that, I need your questions. And so if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please subscribe. If you haven't given this a like yet, please just give it a thumbs up just to counteract the 8 people who, for whatever reason, are not happy today. Or ever. And I haven't given them a reason to dislike today. Or maybe I have just by coming on live. But anyway, I really appreciate all you guys who are super duper positive and super nice and did comment and did all of this stuff. And I'm going to be heading to Louisville, Kentucky. Maybe I'll try to do a meetup that Thursday late for after dinner, after my subject goes to sleep. Maybe I'll do a meetup at the bar in Louisville because I'm going to be going to the Kentucky basketball game against Virginia Tech. And that's all I have to say about that. How to get laid. I'm sure there's some guy out there that could teach you that. But anyway, thank you guys very much. That's where I'm going to leave it. Dan, we're on camera 1. Ready, camera 1. Take camera 1. And I'm out of here. Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com. See ya.